So there's this one test that you take. It's like a professional readiness exam
Mhm.
for like med school. Like you take it alongside like the MCAT. I barely studied for that test. Like I like that's in my head. Like you know what? I've been like working for like 4 years now. Like I know about professionalism.
Right.
And I was right. Like I got like that score is like from a
Yes.
0 to a 9. I got an 8. Like without like
No
even
study.
really like.
This is UMBC Careers Unleashed, where we unleash stories, insights, and expertise to support you on your career journey. Let's dive in.
Hello. Welcome to Careers Unleashed podcast. How are you doing? My name is Isaiah Dunn. I'm here with my guest today, Anna Kim. Anna.
Hello.
How have you been? What are you up to these days?
I've been really good. I just came off a shift from work at the Commons, but yeah, things have been great.
That is actually perfect because we're talking about Beyond the Major today. The title of the episode is Beyond the Major, right? And we're going to get into your life. We're going to get into like what you do, the things that you work towards, your goals. We're going to treat this as like a little career session, kind of just like break down you. Is that okay?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Career controversy, it's just a little question we like to ask every single one of our guests just to like get their opinion on something. It's a little hot take, a little cute moment. Every episode we ask it. Today's career controversy, I was thinking about AI in the workplace. Does it belong? And in what way does it belong if you think it does belong?
Well, I actually have to admit, I don't know that much about AI. Like, I know just about as much as like the average student here. Like, I guess we've kind of like internalized, like, don't use AI, don't use ChatGPT for your homework.
Yeah.
But I feel like some of my professors have been like kind of shifting their mindset a little bit on that, like saying like you can use it to get ideas. You can do it like to get like an idea of what somebody else might do, but you can't use that as your work.
Right.
And I guess like that's kind of how I feel about it. Like I think about it kind of very similar to like a search engine like Google. Like you can look up stuff, it can give you ideas, but at the end of the day, you have to remember that that's not your idea,
Right.
Like you can someone else came up with it,
Right.
or like maybe if you really think about it, it's like an amalgamation of what everybody else thought. They thought of it, so like you can't really present it as your idea, but it's like an avenue to get you to your ideas, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way of thinking about it. For me, I think like I get so wrapped up in like the like the concept of like this is like a computer like has taught me this thing, or I'm supposed like for assignments especially, right? I
Yeah.
talked about my question was about the workplace, but we shifted to like education, and I like that a little bit more. So like thinking about like an assignment, right? I'm here to learn. I'm paying money to learn. A lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Too much money. I'm paying so much money for like housing and stuff. To learn. And I think like every time you ask it a question, every time you ask an AI like a question, you're training it to like be able to answer that question. And
Right.
I find like a personal dilemma. And I don't like to apply this to other people because I feel like everyone can make their own decisions. But personally, I just feel like I'm here to learn, and I'm training the thing to learn for me so that I don't have to learn. And then like I get like into like a weird dilemma of like, is that okay? Like I'm paying money to like ask a computer a question. That like there's like a disconnect for me there.
Yeah, I think I feel the same way. It's like you're in college to learn, you're in college to learn how to think also. So if you're asking like I feel like it's the same way of like if you were asking somebody else to do your homework for you,
Yeah.
you're not doing the work.
Yeah.
You're not going to benefit from that. And I feel like it's the same way. I think maybe if we're talking about the workplace, I don't really know fully yet because in like
not
my
there.
2 jobs, like AI would kind of be useless.
Right.
Not useless, but like we don't use like any sort of search engine at all. But I guess if we're thinking about like the medical field, I know that they're developing a lot of like diagnostic tools that involve AI, right? And those are definitely a good first step, but you always have to like have some like actual doctor, like a real person check
Review
the
it.
work
Yeah.
because it's not going to be 100%.
Yeah. We're not there yet, but it is exciting in the medical field, like what they're doing with it. I think that's the thing that I'm like, yes, do more AI. Like that's the only time you'll ever see me be like jumping for joy at like AI usage. But yeah. Well, you just came off of work. Where do you work at?
So actually I have two jobs on campus. The first one, I work for facilities operations in the Commons.
Hmm.
That's the job I just came from. And my second job is with residential facilities, which is also known as like the MA job, maintenance assistant.
Okay. So, I mean, like, I don't want you to like pick favorites, but I kind of do want you to pick favorites. Which is your favorite? Which is your favorite job that you have on campus?
Ooh, I don't know. Okay. There's pros and cons to both. I'll just
Right.
tell you that. So, for the facilities job, what I like about it is that it's mostly a desk job. We do like a lot of moving around the building, but in the downtime, you can work on your homework. So that's like my
Mm,
biggest thing, and that's why I chose a campus job because it gives you that opportunity. That's what I like about that job. And then for my other job, I feel like you really get to interact with a lot of different people like all the time. Like we're going into residents' rooms and fixing things up that they asked for. So you get to interact with many different kinds of people and you work in a team. So it's like a lot of social interaction with that one.
right. And those are your careers on camp, or not careers on campus, but those are your jobs on campus,
Yeah.
right? What's your major on campus?
So my major is decision neuroscience, and I came up with that through the Individualized Studies program. And then my second major is psychology, and I'm taking that with a BA.
Okay, the Individualized Studies program. For those who aren't familiar, could you explain what that is?
Of course. So sometimes when you come into undergrad, you don't really know exactly what you want to do, or you know exactly what you want to do, like I did, but the school doesn't have a major that matches what you had in mind. So for me, I started with a biochem major, but there was a lot of neuroscience related classes that weren't offered by that department.
Mm,
So when I heard about the Individualized Studies program, it was advertised as a make your own major kind of program, and that's basically what it is. So you work with a lot of seasoned professionals and they help you try to make your degree and then you get that approved by the board and then that's just what your degree and major is.
that's cool. How do you communicate that across like to a future employer, right? Like, how do you communicate like, because they're typically asking like, oh, what's your major, and expecting like a response of like, oh, biology, or like chemistry or something like that. So like, how do you communicate what your work study like is?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that's like the main question I had when I started. Because I know that like you really have to sell yourself when you apply to things. And how do I sell myself if what like I'm selling is something I made up,
Right.
right? Like it's not a real established thing. I think one thing that helps is that individualized studies is becoming more common across universities like as a whole. I know that like a lot of Ivy Leagues have a similar program. So when you are explaining it to people, like they know what you're talking about.
That's good.
And then that's one thing. And another thing is that like throughout the process, they kind of teach you how to like sell like what you're like talking about. But the biggest thing that they like kind of preach you to do is talk about the reason why you selected that major.
Mm.
So like when you're talking to employers, it comes across as like passion, like more so than like, oh, I didn't have a major that I didn't like nothing fit, so I made my own. It's more like I knew what I wanted to do, so I made it happen. And that's like how you like sell
Ooh,
yourself with that point.
I like that. That's very boss. That's like it's very bossed up of you.
Yeah.
So you are an INDS major. Neuroscience is your focus.
Hmm.
But you're doing this work, right? That like doesn't like naturally align with the two, like with your major, right? So how do those things connect for you personally?
Yeah, so at first I had like a lot of like thoughts in my head about this doesn't really align with my major, so I probably shouldn't do it kind of thoughts.
Mm,
But in the beginning, it was about like financial necessity. Like I needed a job now to help me pay for tuition, help me pay for housing. So that's how I got into it. But as I was working the jobs, I realized there's a lot of skills that I learned that I probably wouldn't have learned just doing a job that was solely in my major.
right.
So like I know a lot of people when cuz I want to go to medical school and that's like my career goal. A lot of people when they're applying to medical school, they're lacking things like customer service or like people to people interaction or leadership skills, and I feel like my job has made me really strong in those points.
Right. So you have a lot of these transferable skills, right, that we talk about all the time.
Yeah.
Um, do you think that your jobs have helped like develop, or you said you think those jobs help you develop transferable skills? Can you talk a little bit more about like how they did that?
Yeah, so there's two things like there's kind of like soft skills like I don't really know how to quantify them really, but when
Mhm.
I go into a space, I just feel like instantly more comfortable talking to people than I feel like I would have without those jobs.
Mm.
Like I'm working with like some of my peers, so that kind of teaches me how to work with people at your same level, like how to communicate with them, how to like come together as a team, increase team morale. I feel like that's a big thing that you can't really learn from a textbook, you know, like how to work with people, how to
Right.
like make other people feel good while you're working together. And then the other thing is you also learn how to work with people who are like your bosses and your boss's bosses. I feel like that's like it might be unique to like a big like university setting, but like there's just like levels and levels and levels. So like you kind of learn how to work with like the people who are like right above you. You learn how to like report things like up to like higher levels. And I think
Right.
that's also a skill you can't really learn like from a textbook, like I said.
Right. That's like kind of when you were describing it to me, it sounds like exposure therapy. Yeah, I know. My brain works in weird ways. But like, you know, like when you're like someone's afraid of a spider and like there's no way to get them like unafraid of the spider. You've tried everything. Sometimes you just gotta put the spider in the room with them, like in a small box.
Yeah.
And then like the next session they come in and the spider is like walking around.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, they're holding the spider. And I feel like with transferable skills, it's not like you don't just infuse it all immediately just by picking up a position.
For sure.
You're slowly like you slowly pick these skills up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's like something you described just now. Um for neuroscience, that's like really hard. Why do you want to do that?
Um, well, I guess it doesn't sound hard to me.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, okay, I guess what it is like I always grew up knowing that I wanted to do neuroscience, right? So like
Okay.
in my head, it's always been like the number one option, like the thing I've been most interested in.
Right.
And that's just because like my mom has like a headache disorder. So
Mhm.
like it's always like been like, oh, I want to like try to help her. Like I want to try to like understand like what's going on. And then when I found out that you can do all of that and make it your career and like your job and focus, I was like, that's
Why
exactly what
not?
I want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like why like kind of ties into like the whole INDS thing is like I felt really strongly coming in like knowing what I wanted to do. So like figuring out a way to like make my major and like my like college career like tailored exactly to that was like really great. And I just feel like it made me really understand like for myself like what I want to do.
I think that's beautiful. I think like INDS people are always so like strong minded in the fact that they're like very like I have a goal and I'm gonna pursue that goal and you can't stop me. And I am someone who feels the same way, but like about like other things. So I
Mhm.
really appreciate that in you guys. Um I know you from doing mock trial. That's how we met
Yeah.
on the UMBC mock trial team. Um, and I think like I wanted to talk to you about like how mock trial and like different clubs that you're a part of like really like connect with like what you plan to do for work. Could you like speak about that generally and then maybe we can get into specifics?
Yeah, so I do mock trial and that's like pretty far away from like the medical field and like all
Right.
the stuff that I do for my major. But the reason why I did it, well, one is because I'm a very competitive person and I feel like I needed like a competitive outlet, you know? But the
Right.
other thing is like, I think this is something when I started, I asked all of my advisors about. I was like, so I really like doing mock trial. Like, that's really fun for me, but it doesn't align with my major. So should I still do it? And they all said yes. They were just like, yes, you should definitely do it because it helps you stand out on your applications.
Right.
Like, it's something that other people don't do. But, like, more importantly, it teaches you a different set of skills. So I feel like from mock trial in particular, like, my public speaking skills are like way better than like it would have been if I didn't do it. Like
Right.
me speaking to you right now, this is a product of mock trial. Like I was like going into like high school and like going into college a little, I was very shy. Like I was a
Mm.
very, very shy person. And I feel like being really involved in the community through like working and like through joining clubs like mock trial, it really helped build my confidence so that I can like present myself better, so that I can talk to like larger groups. I think like one thing in specific. So I went to like a medical conference in
Yes, I
September.
remember this.
And I gave a speech there, which is like, whoa. If I didn't do mock trial, I would have been like so scared, like so
Right.
nervous. And I was very scared and nervous.
Of
But
course.
it didn't come across that way. Like afterward, people were telling me like, wow, that was a really like, that was a job well done. Like you really inspired me. And I was like, wow.
How did you end up at that conference?
Oh, so it was like kind of a patient doctor conference. So like I said earlier, my mom has a headache disorder called
Yeah.
they're called cluster headaches. So there was a cluster headache conference like meant for patients to like come and learn about the 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 disorder and like how professionals right now are treating it. So when I emailed them and said that I wanted to go, they were like, "Oh, well, you have a very unique perspective. Like your mom has cluster headaches. So could you talk about what it's like to like be living in that situation?" And I was like, "Sure."
Yeah.
And that's what I talked about.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love when things just like naturally come up like that. Like I think a lot of people are looking for situations or like or opportunities like that, and sometimes when people ask me for advice about like how to find things like that, I just tell them like just wait, be yourself, and talk to other people about your experiences and be open about your experiences, and then like they'll be willing to like something like that will happen, right, where it's like, oh, that like gives me an idea. I'd love to hear you speak about this in front of like a large group of people. Mock trial is like a interesting touch point for that too, because we interact with like industry professionals like all of the time.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it like a couple of days ago. I was like, I've met so many like top lawyers in the
Yeah.
country who like have worked on like big cases or like spoken in front of like the Supreme Court even. Like that's crazy. Like, and doing activities that like just expose you to like professionals like that are so rare, I feel like.
Yeah.
Do you know of any like other like activities that do that, or
No, and honestly, I wish that there was like kind of an equivalent for like the medical field
yeah.
because it's like if I were to like go and interact with like actual doctors like studying like the or researchers studying like topics like right now, that would be like so cool.
Yeah.
But like I like definitely appreciate though that mock trial does give you that opportunity because I feel like for me like if I did ever like change courses with my career, I feel like law would definitely be an option for me because I've had all that exposure.
Right.
Like it's not as scary as it would have been if I like, never did that.
And I think a lot of people like they need that push.
Yeah.
We're talking about today how your career goals can be different from what your actual like lived experience is and
Mhm.
what your actual like job is. And I think a lot of the time people really just need that like that push to do something a little unorthodox, to do something a little weird. Like mock trial is a weird activity. Like, it's not like a normal person like thing to do. I like when sometimes I have to like explain to people what we do. And
Yeah.
I'm like, it's like live action role play but in a courtroom and scored by like judges.
Yeah, right. That's pretty much it.
Which makes it sound like uncool, but like
But it's cool.
it's cool. It's really cool. And it teaches you all of those transferable skills that we just talked about. Do you ever feel like when, or like you talked earlier about how when you were initially getting started, you had all these like concerns about it connecting, and it has to connect, right? And like going to your advisors and being like it has to connect. How do you feel about like the perspective of like when you do these things, it builds your personality, and like you're just doing it for yourself, and then it benefits other things, right? Because I
Mhm.
think a lot of the time we have this a very utilitarian view of the activities we do.
Yeah.
I know I do like all the time, where it's like I come into something and I'm like, if this doesn't meet like these three things and it doesn't help with my like future goals, like why am I doing it?
Right.
But like, how do you feel about doing something for yourself first and then letting the things come?
I think that's definitely a good idea. And I'm probably biased because that's what I did. But I just feel like there is no experience that will give you like well, not no experience, but like of the opportunities that you have on campus, if you take it, there's no harm in that, right? Like, unless you're stretching your time too thin, but you can learn something from everything.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you go for the things you're passionate about, one, it'll help you like not burn out. I feel like if you do things that you really like, it's like kind of like I think of mock trial as like my time away from like all of like the stuff that I'm studying in school. And that's how like I stay energized in both things. Like I know that when I'm working on school and things are difficult, I'll be like, oh, I have a competition this weekend. That'll be fun. And when I'm in competition, I'm nervous. I'll be like, well, at least I'm not taking a genetics exam. You know? So I feel like one, you should always do things that like make you like happier, that make you feel more you.
Right.
And that will inevitably help you with like solidifying your presentation to others and like helping you out with your career because you just feel more yourself.
Right. Wait 1 second, I'm gonna take a big sip of water. That was very good. I was talking to my friend, he's a musician, and we were talking about I'm also a musician. You know this, but for the viewers.
Yes.
I'm also a musician, and we were talking about like he was like, bro, you go to school and like you're also doing music, but you're also doing like you also want to be a lawyer at the same time, like you're not just stopping at undergrad. And he was like, why? Like he was kind of confused as to like why I would be doing that, right?
Yeah.
And I had to like I had to think to myself a little bit because it didn't come to me automatically why. I was like, he was asking me why, and I was like, dude, I don't know. So I like after the call, like I sat there and I really deeped it and I like really thought about it, and I was like, dude, why am I doing like all these things at once? Like I DJ, I rap, I like produce, and then I'm like mixing and mastering stuff for people, and that's like one sphere of my life. And then I'm studying political science, which I care very deeply about, and I'm like doing like AFST work, Africana Studies work, and that's one sphere of my life. And then I'm doing like the legal stuff, right, and preparing for that. I was like, what's like the reason? Because I feel like we live in a world that requires us to have like a reason for everything. And I was thinking about it, and I guess I came to the conclusion that my reason was I really want to be like the fullest version of myself possible. I really want to be like the best me that I can be. And I want to pursue the things that like make me feel like myself. And I think you just touched on that like beautifully. Like we really are socialized like to like think of it as like you have to do this for like the future goal of making money, for the future goal of like having like not being homeless and like that's it. Like if you got those two things, that's it, and that's all you should be caring about. But I really feel like maybe we should add a third thing of like right. Of like I want to be happy and like love the body that I'm living in and like love the life that I'm living. I feel like that should be a goal of everyone.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Recently I've been talking to a lot of different people about like their whys and like why they do what they do. And I guess I'm curious what your why is.
Yeah, like why I do like all different sorts of things at once. I guess I just really want to have like the full experience, you know? And I think part of it is just like you don't want to jump into everything at once, right? So this isn't really like my why, but like it's kind of like my process.
Yeah.
So like when I first started at UMBC, I just joined the mock trial team, and then I started working at the Commons, and then onto that I added my res life job, and onto that I added Neuroscience Club, and onto that I added INDS. Like it was like a process of just like adding more and more things. But I think it's just like I kept craving like involvement, you know? Like I really wanted to be super involved in the things that I'm doing and just meeting and like connecting with as many people as possible. Because it's just like it's more fun. Like it's more fun to be on campus when you know a bunch of people, when you have like a bunch of like friends that you can like talk to just like as you go around. So yeah, I guess that's my why.
The connection with other people, right? I've been thinking about this like a lot recently. I think a lot, right? Like I'm like always thinking like all of the time. I cannot turn my brain off. But I was thinking about how we don't like as a generation, right? Like Gen Z, we very rarely have like spaces to connect with one another. And I feel like we've been sold this like this work first mindset, right? Like everything has to be work first. And I think a lot of times people don't see the connection between the work and the people and how those two things intersect. How do those things intersect for you?
I think in my experience with my jobs, I just enjoyed being at my job more, and I was better at my job when I had connections with people I was working with.
Right.
So like when I first started my job, I was kind of shy, reserved, like I just did what I need to do and left. But like now, like I'm excited to go to work. Like when I'm there, I do like as much as possible with like the people that now I'm like friends with. So it's all like a good time. But I think also just like when you connect with people, they're more willing to help you out, like in the future. Like let's
Yeah.
say that like I need a recommendation letter from my boss. Like I know that he's gonna write me a good one.
Right.
Because if we have that connection, like I always show up and do like really good work. And I just feel like as we like graduate college and we all go into doing different things, like you never know who you're going to need help from, or you
Yeah.
never know like how you could be of help to somebody.
Exactly.
I feel like building those connections now is like so important, and like making space for those connections is like even more important.
Right. It's not all about the major you have. It's not all about what you're studying. You have to like get out and like live and like find out who you are. And I think I've seen so many people get disillusioned by like the college experience, right? Like what it is and like what it means to like go and be like an educated person.
Right.
I've seen so many people get lost in the sauce and like eventually like either like just quit at it or just like become disillusioned and like keep going, but like they're not like happy because they're not or in my opinion, they're not finding like that balance between, yes, I'm here to study for my major and for my career, but I'm also here to make connections with people and like have a good time. Like you're here to have a good time. And I don't know. I've seen so many people just like get wrapped up in it and it makes me sad.
Yeah.
It makes me really sad. But yeah, I mean, I've had a great time like talking with you today. I think we've like touched everything on beyond the major. Do you have any other thoughts, any closing comments?
Oh, there's like one thing that just popped into my head.
Yes.
But when we're talking about like how your extracurricular stuff can help like directly with your major.
Yeah.
So there's this one test that you take. It's like a professional readiness exam for like med school. Like you take it alongside like the MCAT, and it's like a much like less stress thing, and some schools want to see it just to see what you are like as a person. I barely studied for that test. Like I like thoughts in my head, like, you know what, I've been like working for like 4 years now. Like I know about professionalism, right? And I was right. Like I got like that score is like from a 0 to a 9. I got an 8, like without like
no
even
studying.
really like, yeah, because I just feel like without knowing, like I've really prepared myself for like the professional world, like how to present yourself as professional, how to interact with like people who you're working with, your bosses and things like that. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there like as a quantitative measure, just like that's what it did for me.
See,
so,
it works, guys. It works. We're not just talking to talk, okay? Anna is walking the walk. I'm kind of walking the walk a little bit.
You are.
But Anna's really walking the walk. So listen to Anna. It was great talking to you today. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for sitting here chatting with me. Yeah, this has been Careers Unleashed. I'm Isaiah Dunn.
And I'm Anna Kim.
Thank you.
Thank you.